The ocean looks calm, a flat surface, waves, the reflection of the sky. But that's only the top layer. Beneath it, pressure, darkness, and forms of life that were never meant to be friendly. The most unsettling part? Some sea creatures were described hundreds of years ago, and then they started being seen again. So there are only two options. Either people across the world lied in exactly the same way, or something never went extinct. And if that's true, they don't exist in legends. They exist now, right beneath us. 1808. The Pacific Ocean. An Australian three-masted bark cut slowly through the water. No storm, no warning signs, no danger. And that's usually when something truly bad happens. Witnesses said the first thing they noticed was the eyes. Not the body, not the head, the eyes. Huge, round, as large as they later described, a warrior's shield. They rose above the side of the ship and stared directly at the crew. What it looked like. A massive, semi-aquatic beast emerged from the water. Heavy, dense, unnaturally solid. It climbed over the bow of the ship as if the vessel wasn't an obstacle, just a plank. And in that moment, one sailor vanished. No scream, no struggle, no splash. As if he'd been deleted from the deck. Later, the report would state it dryly, bitten or eaten. But everyone knew. The second option sounded far more honest. What makes it strange? No tentacles, no beak, no signs of a squid, just a body, and those impossibly large eyes, like something that spent its entire life in complete darkness, a deep-sea predator. How it left. The attack continued until the captain disappeared below deck. The crew thought he'd fled, but he returned with two firearms. He aimed and fired directly into each eye. After that, the creature slowly, almost reluctantly, slid back into the ocean. It was never seen again. At least, officially. A strange connection. Later, researchers noticed something unsettling. This creature's description closely matches another entity known as the U-85 atrocity. A submarine captain, whose vessel was attacked by an unknown creature, described it as having large eyes set into a horned skull. Coincidence? Maybe. But here's the thing. 1808 was also the year the infamous Stronsay monster washed ashore in Scotland. That's a lot of monsters for a single year, don't you think? Western Japan. Rocky coastline. Fog. You hear the ocean, but beneath the waves there's something extra. Heavy breathing. Ushi Oni. Literally translated, ox demon, and it fully earns the name. What it looks like. Imagine a creature assembled from leftover nightmares. Sometimes it has a demon's body and a bull's head. Other times, a bull's body and the face of an Oni demon. And sometimes it's a full chimera, a bull's head, spider legs, wings, and a body that simply shouldn't exist. Some legends describe an Ushi Oni that looks like a man in a kimono. But even then, there's one thing you can't hide, the bull's head. What they all share. No matter the form, all Ushi Oni are extremely violent, cruel, cannibalistic, capable of breathing poison. Some attack invisibly when a person gets too close to the water. Others patrol the coastline, actively hunting. And the worst ones return to villages again and again, bringing curses, disease, and death. Where they live. Most commonly, rocky shores, wild coastlines, western Japan. But some Ushi Oni move into the mountains, especially on the island of Shikoku. So yes, being far from the sea is not a guarantee. How they hunt. Ushi Oni rarely hunt alone. Spider-like variants often work together with other supernatural beings, such as Iso Ona, Nure Ona. They lure victims closer to the water, and then, from the darkness, the Ushi Oni charges and tears the person apart. The meal, by the way, is shared. Very polite demons. The Japanese believed that Ushi Oni target those who show compassion. So, if you're still watching this video, you're clearly not heartless, and that makes you exactly its type. Subscribing, just to balance your karma. Picture this night, the freezing Minch Strait. A ship moves slowly. Fog sticks to the deck. The sea is far too calm, suspiciously calm. And then, figures rise from the water, waist deep above the waves. Human height, human faces, and skin the color of the dark ocean. These are the blue men of the Minch. They were first described centuries ago by Scottish sailors navigating between the Inner and Outer Hebrides, and the last sightings, much more recent, reported as strange blue men in the water seen just before storms, far too often before storms. Witnesses said they look almost human. Long gray faces, elongated arms, blue head coverings, sometimes even shapes resembling wings. But the strangest thing? They speak. In some legends, a voice rises from the sea. The leader of the blue men emerges and shouts two rhyming lines, a challenge. If the ship's captain can't reply in rhyme, the ship is doomed. The sea begins to boil, waves slam into the hull, and within minutes, the vessel vanishes, as if rewritten out of reality. In calm weather, the blue men sleep on the surface of the water, as if the sea itself decided to pretend it was human. Sometimes they play, laugh, and sing, until a ship appears. There's a story where sailors found one blue man sleeping on the water and tied him to their ship. Moments later, two others emerged from the fog, calling out his name. And just like that, the captive snapped the ropes and leapt back into the sea, as if it had all been a joke. Scholars tried to explain the myth. Sea spirits painted pics, even enslaved North Africans brought by Vikings. But there's one problem. Why do these legends exist in only one place on Earth? Why specifically in a strait where dozens of ships have sunk? And here's the uncomfortable question. What if the blue men never disappeared? What if they simply stopped sinking sailing ships and started waiting for container vessels, cruise liners, and undersea cables? And when modern ships lose signal, lose navigation, or drift off course in a storm, maybe the captain just couldn't find the rhyme. The Sea of Japan. The quiet bays of Ine and Wakasa. A fisherman pulls in his net, thinking he got lucky. Inside, a tiny octopus, just a few centimeters long, nothing special. And that's the moment he makes a mistake, because that's a Koromodako. In its normal state, the Koromodako looks harmless, small, slippery, easy to overlook. Males are tiny, females are 5 times larger, and live inside shells as thin as paper. They drift with currents, tides, waves. They can be anywhere. But the moment a Koromodako feels threatened, it grows. Not slowly, not gradually, instantly. Its body expands, its tentacles stretch, and it transforms into a massive shape, like an enormous sheet of fabric unfolding underwater. That's exactly how it got its name. The Koromodako doesn't bite. It wraps. It envelops. Fish, people, boats, sometimes entire ships. And then, slowly, without urgency, it drags everything down into the depths. No struggle, no traces, just disappearance. After feeding, the Koromodako shrinks back to its tiny size, as if nothing ever happened. And yes, if you think a small octopus can't be dangerous, I wouldn't recommend picking it up. Northwestern Oregon, a fog-covered lake near Forked Mountain. The Kalapuya people spoke of this place only in whispers, because something lives in that lake, Amhaluk, and its favorite thing is drowning. Its origin. They say Amhaluk originally wanted to live on the Atfalati Plains, but it didn't like it there. Too dry, too safe. So it moved to the lake, where it could do what it loved most. What it looks like. Amhaluk looks like a creature assembled from swamp nightmares. A spotted body, long mottled horns, 4 hairless legs. Various objects are tied to its body, things it carries with it, like trophies. Beside it, several spotted dogs. And wherever it steps, the ground softens, sinks, and turns to sludge, as if the earth itself is trying to pull you under. Amhaluk tries to drown anything that catches its gaze. People, animals, even trees. Around the lake, tree trunks stand upside down, roots in the air. The water is so murky, you can't even see the reflection of the sky. The shore is slick, swampy, deceptively quiet. A strange detail. There's a legend that old grizzly bears are instinctively drawn to this lake. They walk into the water and vanish. It's believed they transform into other beings, most often into atunkai, aquatic creatures resembling otters or seals. A peaceful ending? Unlikely. What if it exists today? If Amhaluk is real, it explains a lot. Unexplained drownings, toxic fogs over water, places where people vanish without signs of struggle. Maybe it's not an accident. Maybe someone just looked the wrong way.